go over that, what you were saying outside, again, for them.
Which part?
About connecting with your audience.
Okay.
So you think it's important to have a balance between merchandisable, wide appeal things and then like expressing yourself?
Yeah, I think it's good to think about like who buys my shit, what are they nostalgic for, what do they like, what connects, what makes them like, oh yeah, that reminds me of this, that makes me happy, I want to look at that every day. But at the same time, fucking ignoring all that and sitting down and just painting whatever you feel like. Like, if I do something I know is going to sell, the next day I'm probably going to work on something that might not fucking sell. You know, it might take me a couple years to sell even. Yeah. But at the same time, I want to eat.
Do you think? So we were talking about visual and textual information earlier. Do you think? Because a lot of times when you name your piece something, it gives it more context. Or
yeah, I don't name anything.
Do you ever have to like sell someone on something? Like they're like, "What is that?" And you say, "Oh, it's Alan Watts," and then in the back, here's peyote or whatever.
I try not to. Okay. I really try. Yeah, a lot of times I'll have people walk up and like something and say I'll have like lyrics from a Bad Religion song, and they'll be like, "Oh my god, I connect with this. It's so important." I'm like, "Well, have you ever heard that song?" No. What is it? I don't care. I don't care. I want to buy it anyway.
Okay.
I've sold things to yuppie, not that's a mean word, to nice, normal, upstanding people. They had no idea what they were buying, but they connected with it somehow.
Well, I mean, if you wrote down some Pixies lyrics and they had never heard the Pixies, but they liked the lyrics.
Because they're good lyrics, yeah. And I'm always clear I didn't write those, but at the same time, I don't name shit. And I try, if somebody asks, what's your inspiration? What does this mean? I try to blow that off. Every once in a while, something will have a story. Some things are interesting. Like there's a few pieces I've done. No.
Well, like that cactus piece you did.
That was in my brain right now. That my wife sketched it out, and then I fucking finished it.
And people might ask what this is about, and obviously you have a love for botany, and
see, I would have never said that. I would just say I'm from the desert. It's just familiar to me.
But you love plants, so you're very.
I do, but I would never think to tell someone that. I'm really not very good at selling it like that. It's just kind of like. When people ask me about stuff, I might have a little anecdotal thing, but usually I try really hard to not overanalyze it, because it just kind of gets boring to me. It's not interesting to me.
Have you ever seen a piece of art that you weren't affected by or didn't like, and then you found out what it was about or what its name or who did it, and it made more sense to you?
No.
Well,
I'm a very first impression. Either it aesthetically, it is. When I see it, I like it, or I don't. You can tell me all about it, and I'll be like, "Oh, that's cool, that's interesting," but it just doesn't. It's not going to change what I want to look at, because it might be more interesting, but it's still not going to make me want to put it on the wall anymore.
Yeah.
But that's how I approach it. Because
I was thinking about that the other day about just aesthetics and first impressions, and how everybody's been. Maybe you don't, but there's this meme going around, the tier list. So you'll put a green screen behind you and you'll have tiers. S tier, A, B, C, D, E, F. Yeah, and you take a general idea like Halloween candy or something like that, and you give it a grade. It's like, oh, fucking, candy corn is F tier, and Reese's Pieces are S tier or whatever. JonTron is one of my favorite YouTubers, and he just did architecture. It was hilarious. But I was thinking about, if you got a bunch of people in a room and focus grouped all the greatest pieces of art in the world and did a tier list, yeah. It's like I'm not a huge fan of the Mona Lisa. I'll go ahead and say that right now.
I mean,
it's cool.
But I wouldn't want it on my wall.
But it's not. It is beautiful and it's very important.
I'm also very shallow about all this. Look, you asked me my favorite artist, I clam up and I'm like, fucking Daniel and my friend Natalie. It's people I know that I have their shit in my house. It's not famous people because maybe some comic book artists when I was a kid, or Frank Frazetta or something. Yeah. But I don't. If it's really important and it's got a lot behind it, it doesn't mean shit to me.
Yeah, Joe Madureira was the
I know that name.
comic book guy that I really.
He's kind of a dark style.
Yeah, it's weird.
A lot of those guys like Quesada and Jay Lee that were real dark and like weird and stuff. I enjoyed
Todd McFarlane. I went through.
Todd McFarlane was good. I enjoyed his stuff, but it was always there's something about it I never quite connected with.
When I draw people, sometimes I know you've seen some of my stuff. I like long,
kind of attenuated, like lanky,
just dripping sort of figures.
Yeah, he does a lot of that.
Yeah, and like Spawn's cape and shit, it just sort of dissolves into like static and shit.
My favorite as a kid was Jim Lee because it's just so big. You know Jim Lee?
Mm.
Wow, he's like one of the most famous comic artists. Real basic, perfect. Like everything's just sexy women, giant tits, strong dudes. And now when I go back and look, I'm like, it's just kind of corny. Like it's really good and solid, but it's just kind of basic, and it's not really like, it's not dark at all. It's not really interesting. Mm-hmm. So I've changed there, but I've always been kind of shallow with my art likes.
We were talking about anime earlier. I think like the aesthetic of anime is like the visual part of it will determine whether or not I have the patience to follow the storyline through.
That's why I don't really get into anime, because it doesn't appeal to me at all.
Well, some of them are just like stellar, you know, like have you ever seen Full Metal Alchemist?
A long time ago, yeah.
I mean, it's a beautiful traditional anime style mixed with, you know, some of those little mannerism things. Somebody gets embarrassed and they go, oh, and their whole face is in shadow and there's two little teardrops coming off the side.
Yeah.
But
I for just a little while I was watching some of that stuff and enjoyed some of it, but just never really hooked me in.
Yeah.
When I first started painting, because my house has always been black and red, because that's what I enjoy. I was like, I'm just going to paint in black and red. That's my aesthetic, because that's what I enjoy, and it just appeals to me.
Sure.
But I realized real quickly that scares people. So I would set up around Birmingham when I first started, and people with like a wide berth around me, and you'd see them kind of like, wow, fucking it hurts. I saw people get affected by it, and I was like, all right, I want to appeal more because I love this, but I also want people to come to me and want to buy my art. So I started like, all right, even though I don't want, you know, purple and blue on my wall necessarily, what can I do with purple and blue that I'll still enjoy? That when I'm done, I'll be like, oh, this is something cool that I created.
Absolutely.
Whereas I don't think you have to, it doesn't have to be everything you do that you enjoy doing doesn't have to be what you personally would want, you know?
Yeah, and like for me, I love patterns, you know. I've been doing stuff with stencils and layering the stencils, and when you do too much of that, it gets too busy and it's like hard to look at. And but sometimes, like if you're in the right state of mind or whatever, right mood, it's cool because it just pops. But a lot of times it's kind of hard to look at. You're just like, sometimes too much going on.
Sometimes what you want to do and what's fun to do isn't necessarily what's going to make people be drawn to your work.
Well, that's like drips. Painting with drips and splatters is so much fun, but to get a final product you're proud of and that looks composed, like you tried to do that, it's hard to do.
Yeah, I don't do as much of that anymore, but I know when I first started, because I had such a hard time being neat and like I'm very sloppy and I fuck up a lot. So at the end, I take my paintbrush and like, there, now you can't see my fuck ups, and like it works to a certain extent. But then you get to a point where like, well, I got some skill. I want to try to show off my skill. And
what's the guy's name? Ralph Steadman?
Yeah,
the splatter guy.
I was not necessarily inspired by his art, but I do tons of the Fear and Loathing stuff, or I used to.
I'm completely subconsciously inspired by everybody all the time.
Well, yeah.
Like I've never tried to do.
I shouldn't say I'm not inspired by Steadman, because obviously a lot of my Fear and Loathing stuff was, but I was trying to do Fear and Loathing my own way, not Ralph Steadman's way necessarily. But I just feel like the Fear and Loathing stuff requires some fucking, you know, some splatters and drips and craziness.
Have you ever seen Where the Buffalo Roam?
Oh yeah, the fucking Bill Murray version.
Nobody ever talks about that.
I didn't see it till years after I saw Fear and Loathing.
Bill Murray is Hunter S. Thompson. Like he sounds just like him.
He did a great job.
Looks like him.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I still think Fear and Loathing is a better movie as far as the feel and the overall.
The direction. I mean,
Yeah, it's
director
it's an
of
amazing
photography,
movie.
or I forgot who made that movie.
I don't know details and stuff. I'm bad with fucking
Well,
credits and details.
I fancy myself a cinephile because I watch a lot of YouTube reviews.
Yeah.
It's great. I love one of my. Actually, I've never shouted them out, so I want to shout them out. I've been a fan of Welcome to the Basement for like 10 years. They're amazing. They've put out stuff regularly. It's great content, and they don't have the subscribers that they should.
I'll check them out.
Or the views. So go give them a like because they've been doing it for a long time. They're from Madison, Wisconsin. They're an improv group. Very talented guys, and they play. It's called Beer and Board Games, and they get demonetized and fucked up in YouTube because they have alcohol.
Oh, really?
So good thing I'm drinking my water out of this clay, made by Confused Owl Pottery. Jack Marks,
It's
Big
a really
Red.
good Cucaraco water. I got here.
Cucaraca, shout out.
Or Rocco's Revival or whatever it is.
Anyways, go check them out. That's a lot of fun, and they're just really funny. I forgot why I thought about that, but I put them on for years in the background while I painted and stuff. So I like, how before memes everybody just quoted Anchorman and Napoleon Dynamite to each other all the time.
Yeah.
That's how their voices play in my head all the time.
I've been trying to explain to my 7-year-old what memes are because like I'll be like, take my phone, I'll stick it in my wife's face, and she laughs, and I laugh, and she's like, what? And I'm like, and she goes, and I was like, well, it's context, baby.
Yeah.
Like it's all context. You have to know what the meme's from. You have to know what the joke's from. You got to know all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like the one of me is. Did you see the one last night that my friend Andrew made?
Mm.
You know the one going around. I'm gonna tell my kids this is.
Yeah.
It was just Osama bin Laden. I'm gonna tell my kids this is Brian Burks. And like she's just like, I don't get it. I was like, well, you don't know who Osama bin Laden is.
Yeah.
You don't know that. Somebody took my face one time and cut it in half and did like my face and his face.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny. I'm only half Arab.
Well, apparently I'm just white because Jewish doesn't mean
Apparently
anything.
I am too, according to some people nowadays.
I don't understand how race works.
It does. We're all just white men.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I thought the Scotch Irish were the trash of Europe, but
Nah.
apparently we're just white. Just like
It's all just one thing now.
So, anyways,
Yes.
the Paris catacombs are a fucking network of tunnels. These guys take like pneumatic drills. They siphon off the fucking government's.
You're gonna say we have that in Birmingham? Is that what you're gonna get to?
We have stuff.
So
yes.
we're gonna start doing shows in the fucking underground Birmingham.
Don't tell anybody. But yeah, so the Dread River Distillery is named after a river, underground river that's supposed to run under Birmingham. Every major city in America has this. Seattle has an underground because when the railroads, the steel industry and the railroads and coal and all that shit, they needed a legit city, but then they also needed the black market. So Seattle, for instance, most of the government went to this brothel. Every human being in Seattle went to this brothel, and at this madam, she was really good at what she did.
Like a good brothel.
This madam was a genius, dude. She refused any girl that came to work at her brothel. They had to get a fucking education. They had to go to like finishing school, and all this shit, like learn manners and traditional, like how to play the fucking lyre or some shit, like to be basically like a
Companion type person that people would want to.
It's more like a geisha
Yeah.
than anything. But the economy during the Depression was so bad. The brothel had so much money. The madam basically just made sure the town still ran. Like built schools and shit. Like
So we're gonna start a brothel underground in Birmingham.
no, but what I'm saying is when Birmingham started, there was brothels, bootleg alcohol, opium, things like that were huge industries, and they ran the town basically. So you needed a way to smuggle and go underground shit. And so I want Matt Hogue, who is not here, to take us on a real suburban or suburban.
That'd be interesting. I grew up in
Exploration.
Tucson, and in Tucson there's flash floods, so there's like washes everywhere. And when we were like 7, 8, 9, we'd get flashlights and we'd get lunch and we'd get some fucking weapons and stuff, and we would go up under the tunnel, when it wasn't raining, so we didn't die. We'd go up under the tunnel systems and
You better check the weather before you get.
We were stupid. We could have got killed. But it would, you can go miles. I mean, we would come out in a different part of the city. Yeah. And be like, fuck, where are we? We got to go figure out how to get home, get on the sun train.
Did you ever run into people living there?
Yeah, there were bums under there, and like, we were mean little kids. We didn't like fight or hurt them, but we just like, we didn't want to. We'd be like,
you were Alexander Delarge. You were going around kicking bums in the stomach.
I remember people hurting. I remember seeing kids throw rocks at bums and stuff. But usually we had like we took a flash with us from a camera for rats, and if we saw somebody, we just flash it, and they usually get freaked out and run off because we were just like make a lot of noise and scare them off. But I remember some kids were extra mean, but the underground in Tucson was crazy, and nobody watched us.
I've seen a lot of documentaries about the people who live in the storm drains in Las Vegas.
I saw one recently too. That's crazy.
David Cho is one of my other favorite artists in the world. So if you've never seen Vice's Thumbs Up, David Cho hitchhikes around the entire United States and goes and just jumps on trains and shit, doing the craziest stuff.
That's what my favorite bands do these days.
Yeah, but then for season 2, he did it in Asia. He was jumping on the back of people's cars in China, in like small towns, like just be like, yeah, just give us a ride. Damn. And they'd be like, who is this?
First time I heard of him, he was on Howard Stern years ago. Like,
he's got
when Stern was still doing good interviews.
Go watch his Joe Rogan podcast. He's got the craziest story, craziest life story ever, and he has his own podcast with one of the most successful.
Got a podcast these days.
Well, his is unique. Asa, one of the most talented porn actresses in the world, is his co-host.
Okay,
Asa Akira.
I'm not familiar with that.
She's beautiful.
Right on.
But yeah, she's dirty.
I can't even think of his work, David Cho, but I've heard him on interviews and stuff enough that I know.
He works.
Like I said, all my favorite artists are fucking.
He's mostly a muralist. That's why I think I admire him so much.
That makes
sense.
He
works very, very large, very surreal.
You know that it's kind of cliche, but the Banksy movie, Exit Through the Gift Shop.
I never watched that.
You never saw that one?
I didn't.
It was so popular, I kind of ignored it because people kept saying watch it, so I ignored anything popular. Yeah, but I watched it about a year ago, and it was like, it really, like, it got to me. I was like, wow, that's, like, the way, just the fucking guerrilla tactics of all that. It was interesting. And then that movie's about fucking, what's his, I'm bad with names. It's about some dude that was basically hanging on to Banksy and them, who became famous by not doing art, by coming up with ideas and paying motherfuckers to make his art for him.
I'm pretty sure Banksy is a union or a collective of people.
But this dude was like
following
Banksy around, videotaping him. It's an interesting story. You should watch it. But basically, this guy just like he acted like he was making a documentary and then didn't know how to make the documentary, right? And he had all this tape, just tons of tape.
I don't know what that feels like.
But so he takes off. Banksy's like, why don't you just go work on your own art show, trying to get rid of him so he can deal with all this tape and try to make something of it. And the dude just goes off and mortgages his house and he sets up his own art show in L.A., uses Banksy's name, without asking.
Oh, yeah.
And fucking rents out a giant warehouse and becomes one of the biggest fucking artists in the world without doing any art.
I think I heard about that.
I was like, well...
Did he try to do it in Russia, too?
I don't know.
Or was that a different guy?
I don't know. I was just like, well, he sucks, but the tactic was very, very...
It's all marketing.
Exactly.
I've been studying, or, learning about all of these viral marketing campaigns, like, have you ever heard of Cicada?
I mean, I've heard of cicadas.
Cicada was this, like, pseudo government. There's a lot of conjecture about it, but it's like this super advanced hacker puzzle that only a few people in the world found out, and it was like this promise to be in this. Anyways, there was this guy who was getting a PhD in marketing and had this thesis where it's called Neurocam, and it was just basically a big social experiment in marketing using secret societies and MK Ultra mind control and all sorts of crazy shit to get people to become involved with this augmented reality game, and that was the thesis for his master's.
Oh.
You know,
That's
so
interesting.
to get a whole bunch of people to crowdsource a cult video game thing.
Yeah, my whole marketing thing has always been based on what I saw punk rock bands do.
Mm-hmm.
Just fucking roots, fucking...
Just shit on the stage and smash your head until it bleeds?
Not that necessarily. Putting stickers on every fucking corner in Birmingham. And so when people so I say, I'm Brian Burx, and they go, I've heard your name before. Like, that happens
I
a lot.
love how people don't know where they know things from.
Exactly.
But they're just given the benefit of the doubt.
Because I stick my name on every... If I walk around with a fucking pocket full of stickers and just stick them on every... I don't. Other people put them out for me.
I mean,
because I would never...
No, that's illegal.
Yeah, that's illegal. I wouldn't do that. But you know, like I heard about like Black Flag, right? They basically started the underground touring circuit, and they would go and fucking wheat paste their flyers up. So even after the show, their flyer was fucking there for a year.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily wheat paste because that would be illegal too. But if
it's just flour, sugar, and water.
Yeah, but I do look at that marketing campaign where it's just going around putting shit all over town, free stuff, leaving free things in stores. And just fucking...
That's why New York says post no bills everywhere on every construction thing. It's just like... But I kind of wish you could. Because everything is just covered, you know?
If I got to go put up a flyer, I could take a fucking whole roll of tape.
Oh, how'd that get up
I don't know, man. They pop up everywhere. Take a roll of fucking clear tape and put it on a fucking... roll around. 6 months later, it's still there, you know? People that don't like me are like, I'm trying to get this shit off, but I'll see where my stuff's been kind of tore at the edges sometimes.
And they just gave up.
Yeah. But that's been my whole way of marketing, is just like, you know, fucking go from the bottom up. Fucking.
All right, so that's 22 minutes right there. So go ahead and plug anything you want to plug.
Well,
so
the Punk Rock Art Show, the 10th Punk Rock Art Show, it's a Christmas show, and it's at Brennan's, and it's the 20th of December, 6 p.m. Got Skeptic, the best punk rock band in Birmingham, Boss Rush, who's a great band, Tiger Helicide, another good band, Bennard Skinnerd from The Goddamn Rights, Wesley Worthless, Justify These Scars, who were the first punk band I ever saw in Birmingham, and Pink for President, who are a really good pop punk band. And we'll have a bunch of artists. I'm going to make Daniel come. It's going to be fun. There's going to be a lot of good Irish whiskey and food, and hopefully people show up even though it's a few days before Christmas.
So how many shows have you done at Brennan's now?
I don't know. I'd have no idea. Probably 10 or 15. I don't know.
Oh, that okay.
Because I've done a few different kinds of shows
I
there.
thought it was more than that.
Oh, I maybe. I lose track. I do a lot of shows now. I've done a lot of shows.
Yeah, you're the busiest man in Birmingham.
That's what I hear, but I don't know.
I don't know how you do it all. I can't find the motivation.
Every time I got a shitty job my whole life, I became the manager pretty quick.
Yeah.
So as soon as I started being an artist, I was like, all right, I guess I'll start managing this shit. Start setting up shows, and it was just, you can't make your own schedule unless you're the manager, you know.
But you have a YouTube channel?
I have a YouTube channel that I haven't used in years. It's what I use it for music originally.
Yeah.
But I don't ever put anything on there anymore.
Okay. Well, you have a new LP?
Basically, I don't know if it's new. I took all the music I made before I figured out that doing visual art was my path, because I knew that, you know, I knew I should be doing art. So I used to sit on my couch after work and fucking write songs that nobody cared about. Like, no one. So I have...
Dude, if you've watched my old videos where I put my own music in the background, it's kind of, I watch them and I'm like, crazy. Ooh, this is hard to watch.
Well, I made enough stuff that I'm like, I gotta do something with it, because I am proud of it. And I'm also embarrassed by it because it sucks. But so now I'm making flash drives, filling it up with my music.
It's not on cassette.
No, it's coming in a cassette jewel case.
Okay.
I'm doing original
art. I
art.
thought you'd put it on a cassette.
No, fuck that. I can because I got way too much shit to put on one cassette.
We could listen to it.
I should have brought it. But it's like I give what it is. I'm doing original art, just hand drawn, painted art, going in the cassette tape, and in the cassette you also get a flash drive with. Cool. Like 50 songs, and some of it's dub, weird sound collage, some of it's punk songs, some of it's acoustic, a little bit of everything.
We should play some bad music together sometime.
I'm down. Me and Alex have been doing it lately.
I know. I didn't watch the video, but I was like, oh, nice.
It's
scroll. Just like you do with the podcast.
We all do that.
So you have a Patreon.
I canceled my Patreon because it was just too much trouble for what it was. I've got a Facebook, Art by Burx.
Facebook.
That's where I post all my shit. Instagram, Brian.
Art by Burx.
No, I don't know my Instagram offhand.
Brian Burx.
It's like Brian Burx, BURKXS, or so. It's confusing because mine was already taken.
Oh, okay.
But if you go hashtag Art by Burx, you'll find me.
What do you like? Spreadshirt and anything else like? Any external things like Spreadshirt or something? Can people go
Teespring? If you look up Art by Burx on Teespring, I have a bunch of T-shirts on there. But if you just go on any social media and look up Art by Burx, you'll see my shit. And
you have an Etsy or anything? It's like
nah, cool. I'm too lazy. I can only handle so much social media.
Well, you're on Facebook about as much as I am. So.
Well, Facebook and Instagram work pretty well. So I'm just like hammer away at the ones that work. And
cool.
Every time I've ever tried anything else, it's just been too much.
So go down to Birmingham Oddities.
Oh, I'm going to be at Brookwood Mall for all of December, hanging out at Brookwood Mall.
Oh yeah, there's a pop-up, or for however long as we can keep it, artist shop in Brookwood.
It's all through December. It's a whole shop. It's near the food court, I'm told, near Santa.
That's good.
Yeah, so we're going to be hanging out in there, all of my kid, and we'll be doing homeschooling and painting and just trying to sell some stuff, trying to make some Christmas money. So if you want Christmas stuff, come buy it from me.
Please do.
I got shit from $1 to
local.
$500.
You don't want to get somebody something for $40 that you don't even know if they'll like.
Don't buy junk from Walmart. Come buy my art. Buy Daniel's art. Daniel has a lot of great art. I'm looking at a bunch of it. It's good.
Yeah.
Come buy it.
Come hang out and buy some of this. Yeah. So go to the Punk Rock Art Show. Volume 10.
Go to Brennan's all the time. They support everything I do. They're the best fucking place in town. Like Danny over at Brennan's, he facilitates so many good times.
Good guy.
I'll look around and I've got all these artists set up and there's people fucking moshing and crowd surfing at this tiny pub, and I look over at Danny and he's got the fucking sound. I'm just like, thank you for letting us do this, man. Like, he's such a good guy.
Hell yeah.
I really appreciate him a lot.
Well, and for me, YouTube, Daniel Weingarten and Magic City Mural Company, MagicCityMuralCompany.com. Magic City Mural Co. Instagram, Daniel Gilchrist Weingarten Facebook. I have a Patreon. Please go over there and
patron him.
Take a think about it. Think a take about it. Anyways,
that's grammatically correct.
Unless there's anything else you want to mention. Don't want to talk about sobriety.
No. Yeah, I've been as sober as I've ever been for like a week and a half.
And it's awful.
Yeah, dreams are fucking terrible. Don't dream. Why? Oh, it's terrible.
Hell yeah, brother.
All right, man.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys for coming. Y'all have a good night. Appreciate you.
Alright, this is the last one. These guys are regular.